morning. So a few months ago, Adam approached me and he said, I want you to give a talk at the community camp. And I said, sure, can I teach them rope climbs? And he said, no, I want you to give them a talk. Bar muscle ups? No, an inspirational talk. I was like, oh boy. So he hands me this book and he says, read this book and it's going to give you a framework for this talk. I'll give you some notes about what to talk about. It'll be fine. I roll my eyes because I prefer to read books that are set at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. But I told him if he does my 10-minute echo bike progressions with me, I will read the book and I'll give the talk. He did the progressions with me, so I read the book. And because I read the book, I'm going to spend exactly one slide talking about it. So, what is relatedness? In this book, Tribe, the author explains that we have a basic human need to be a part of a community, to connect to one another. Relatedness is what it takes for a community to continue to churn. It's to care for others and to be cared for by others. And it's this little flow chart that keeps on circling, and that's how we continue to feel like we belong in our communities. What's important to remember here is that it is not just what you take, it is also what you give. You have to also care for others in order to be cared for by others and continue to flow through. So thanks for the book, Adam. What is relatedness? Mia's version. Any Swifties out here? No? Oh, all right. It's really easy to make CrossFit all about yourself. There's a lot of things that go into it that you have to really focus on yourself in order to level up. You have to take care of your nutrition. You have to be really on point with your training. You have to make sure you sleep enough. And these things can come, and usually do come, with a lot of selfish decisions. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's necessary. I do that as well. But I think that it's really important to be careful that you don't find yourself navigating this path towards becoming a better athlete and neglecting the relationships that you could build along the way. So as we go on this journey, this story, we're going to meet some characters. And my hope is that from these characters, you take away some of the lessons that they have taught me. Number one, you are not less because they are better. Teammate to be announced. So I started CrossFit in 2013. I had played competitive sports, competitive soccer my whole life, and I was done with that and I needed to fill that void. Probably sounds like a familiar story because that's how a lot of us got here. Well, I stumbled upon a Groupon for CrossFit, and the picture of the girl she had really nice abs. I was like, all right, I want to do that. So I buy this 2-week Groupon, and I don't need 2 weeks. One day, I'm sold. This is something I can dig into. I can become obsessed with and really strive to become a better athlete, which is what I liked to do. I like to work hard towards becoming a better version of myself athletically. Problem was, I was not talented. I was pretty skinny. My lower body was fairly strong, but I had not done a push-up my entire life. Thank you, soccer, and lack of strength and conditioning that came with it. So I couldn't do a strict pull-up. I couldn't even dream of doing a muscle-up. I remember seeing a girl do a bar muscle-up at the gym and thinking, wow, I don't think I can ever do that. But I dive in and I start working. So 2013 to 2015, continue to develop in the sport. And I start coaching. I'm working at a gym in Florida, in my hometown. And we're hanging out before class. Some of the athletes are playing around, trying to handstand walk over plates. Now keep in mind, 2015 Mia cannot do a ring muscle up, and she certainly cannot handstand walk. So I'm just kind of like kicking up and falling down and hanging out and just watching them do their thing. This girl walks in. She looks pretty athletic. She puts her backpack down, says, hey, I want to try CrossFit. I've never done it before. I used to do gymnastics. Hi, I'm here. Okay? She's like, oh, handstand walking. Kicks up, walks up and over the plates immediately. Little internal Mia goes, oh God, it's her first day and she's already this much better than you. There's something wrong with you. Well, we start training together and I'm getting better, she's getting better. We start doing partner competitions together. We do so many. We actually end up winning a lot of them. It's a lot of fun. She is a great teammate, great support, but the problem is she's getting better faster than I am. In 2016, we do a Wodapalooza qualifier where there's a max thruster in it. I do this max thruster, I PR by, it was like 10 or 15 pounds, which is a huge PR, but she PRs by more than me, so it's not enough. I start beating myself up all the time, comparing myself to this girl. This girl who, keep in mind, I am competing with her. We are winning competitions together, but she is getting better than me faster. And that is it's just driving me crazy. I am devaluing everything that I'm doing because I'm comparing myself to her. This cycle went on for 2 years. From 2015 to 2017, we competed together. I was getting better, she was getting better, but I felt like what I was doing wasn't enough, and I wasn't giving myself any credit for my successes. So let's meet my teammate. Now, if you don't recognize her, let me show you a picture of her 5 years later. This is Dani Spiegel. She is the strongest woman in CrossFit. She is a 4-time Games athlete. This is a picture of her winning the sandbag ladder at the 2022 Games. She also won the log clean and jerk at Rogue that same year, and also wins all the strength events. She is a powerhouse. So, for 2 years, I created this mental pitfall for myself. I devalued my successes because I was always measuring them against the future strongest woman in CrossFit. So to recap, lesson number 1, what I learned from my friendship with Dani: you are not less because they are better. And how this fits in my little friendship circle, which we're going to continue to see throughout this talk: I am happy for your success, and I am happy for my success. In order for this to work, I need to learn to be truly happy for your successes independently of mine in order to be truly happy for my successes. Over those years, 15 plus partner competitions, and of course the clarity of hindsight, I finally learned that my worth did not diminish because her success grew. So thank you for that, Dani. Lesson number 2, I can actually believe in myself. Teammate, Kyle Ruth. All right, 2017, I got hired by Training Think Tank. I move here. I still have that same hunger to be competitive, but as Max said, I wasn't that good. Well, when you get to TTT, everything levels up. I had that same competitive hunger, but the mountain was higher, and all of a sudden I was in this little pond full of sharks. Everyone was either a Games athlete or a multi-time regional athlete, and then there was me. So the 2018 season rolls around, which was my first CrossFit season that I experienced here. And that year, TTT wanted to put together 2 teams to compete at regionals and then eventually make it to the Games and represent TTT at the Games. So the way this happened was we recruited athletes to come on site, and then those athletes were divided into 2 buckets, 2 teams. Team 1, Team 2, they were called Corpus and Animus. So this was the year where teams went from 6 to 4. So each team had 2 males and 2 females. So took these athletes, separated them, Team 1, Team 2, 4 people. And then, as teams work, there you put 2 alternates on each team, a male and each female. So we filled in alternate on Corpus, alternates on Animus. And then TTT also filled in another male and female on Corpus and another male and female on Animus. And those were the we don't want them to feel left out alternates. That was me. I was not going to be on the regional floor that year, but I was on a roster as a backup. So, thus far in my CrossFit career, I say that I had a long road and I wasn't getting better, but I was getting better and I was improving each year, and the way that I was measuring my improvement each year was doing better in the CrossFit Open, ranking higher in the Open, as a lot of us do. And I had been successful every year since then. I had set a goal of a ranking and I had moved up. Well, this year my goal was to to rank in the top 100 on the leaderboard. This year it was top 20, made it to regionals. So again, I wasn't thinking I was going to regionals, but my goal for this year was to finish in the top 100. So the open starts, do 18.1, it goes well. I do well enough to continue to shoot for that goal. 18.2 rolls around. Now 18.2 was a two-part workout, 18.2A and 18.2B. 18.2A was a ladder of double dumbbell front squats and bar facing burpees. It was a short sprint workout that was very burpee dense, which is not a great workout for me. So I do this workout, I don't do too hot, I get beat by a lot of people, and it's pretty clear that this is going to be a low ranking on the leaderboard. But the way that this workout worked is it's a running clock. You do part A, and then you go immediately into part B, which is a 1 RM clean. Well, I somehow managed to PR my clean by like 15 pounds that day, which was awesome. I cleaned 222 pounds, super excited, but the first part of my workout needed to improve for me to continue to strive towards that top 100 goal. So I redo the workout, and I do significantly better in part 1. I take off over a minute, which on a short workout like that is thousands and thousands of spots on a leaderboard. It makes a huge difference. I cleaned 215 pounds. So 7 pounds less, still a really strong clean. That would have been great on the leaderboard. Ranking wise, it was a no-brainer to submit that second score. Well, we get an email. Pretty sure it was from Adam, and if it wasn't, I'm still gonna blame Adam for it. And it said that if you are on a team roster, it is your responsibility to submit the scores that will benefit the team the most. Well, my 222-pound clean was the second highest clean in that team roster, which meant it would score for the team and help push them into regionals. So it was my responsibility to submit that score to help the team, even though that score was going to plummet me on the leaderboard and knock me out of my goal, which was top 100 in the region. Put the score in, I spiral. Seeing my name drop, no shot anymore, and I feel like my year is over. I failed. Not good times for Mia. It just so happened that Kyle Ruth and I had set up an initial consult for after that week of the Open. It was a coincidence that it fell on that week, but I was going to start one-on-one coaching with him. So we have this initial consult. He's smiling because he remembers. And he asks me how I'm doing, and I start crying. And we talk for 90 minutes, and I cry the entire time. In his head, he was probably thinking, oh my God, this girl is nuts. What did I get myself into? She's a coach here. I can't not coach her. But that's not what he said. Kyle said, let's get to work. And then this is not a direct quote, but it's pretty close to what he said to me. You are now one of my people, and I believe in my people. And if you know Kyle, you know that he believes in his people. So he started coaching me, and from 2018 to 2021, he coached me. Under his guidance, I continued to train in the on-site environment and continued to get smashed. And by that, I don't mean I wasn't winning workouts. I mean I was finishing last place every time. Had a lot of meltdowns. We do our workout here. I'd go over to that bathroom over there, cry it out, wipe my eyes off, come back out, and pretend like everyone couldn't see that my eyes were completely bloodshot. And just keep going. And this cycle would go on. I would melt down, and Kyle would tell me, keep trying, I believe in you. Melt down, keep trying, I believe in you. And this cycle repeated itself for years. Eventually, I think he inceptioned me. Because here's someone who I respect as a coach and as an athlete, and he knows what it takes to get to a high level in the sport. He's seen the kind of work that it takes from athletes to get there, and he keeps telling me that I can do it. Over and over again. He says, I believe in you, you can do it. So who am I to not think that I can? Didn't happen overnight, but it took a lot of hard training and perseverance on my part. But his constant reminder that I could took root. In 2020, we started sharing the competition floor together. This is a picture of us at Wodapalooza. and it was my first team of 4 event, team of 4 big event. So what I learned from Kyle, I can actually believe in myself, and how this fits in our friendship circle. I believe in you and you believe in me. In order for this to churn, it is imperative that I believe in the belief that you have in me. Because the people who believe in you for a reason. So believe them. So thank you, Kyle. Lesson number 3, friendship over everything. Teammate Mike McGoldrick. So 2021 rolls around. Regionals are back. They're called semifinals now, but same concept. And so is the Affiliate Cup. So we dig Mike out of his 3rd retirement, and we put together a team. The team is Mike, who had been to the games in 2013 and regionals a whole bunch of times. Brandy, who had been going to regionals consistently for a decade. Kyle Ruth, who finished 1 spot out of a games qualifying position in 2015. And me. We placed 16th in the North America quarterfinals that year, which was a surprise to us because we weren't even thinking we were going to the games that year. But there were 20 spots to fill in semifinals, so it wasn't an impossible concept that we could go to the games. So on to semifinals we go. I've never been on a regional or semifinal floor before, so a lot of imposter syndrome going on in my head. But 36 hours before semifinals, 3 of us get the stomach flu. So we are competing on Friday. Wednesday, I wake up in the middle of the night and I throw up. And I throw up again, and I throw up again. And it just keep throwing up. 7 a.m. hits. I send a text message to the team. Guys, something is not right. I've been throwing up all night. Mike texts back. We're sick too. So at that point, what are you going to do? Pick myself up. My fiance, Kyle, drives me to Knoxville. Along the way, we stop for an IV. That's this cute picture of me. That night in Knoxville, Mike and Brandy walk into the room like this. We're less than 24 hours out from maxing out our snatches and clean and jerks, and Mike says that his joints hurt too bad to hold a front rack. Brandy rolls her eyes at him, but here we go. All right, we make it to semifinals. Friday kicks off. I have not eaten a thing since Wednesday, living off of Pedialyte. Day 1 actually goes pretty well. There's a max lift. Our boys are crazy strong. And then the second workout is a fairly short worm and erg workout, which was a really good workout for us. And it wasn't so long that it was going to destroy us. So we do really well on day 1. We're kind of like riding this high of adrenaline and Pedialyte, I guess. And we end the day in 4th place. 5 spots from the semifinal go to the games. Day 2 hits. I still have not eaten any food. I do not feel okay. We're warming up. I'm running to the bathroom every few minutes, and I'm just praying that I don't have an accident on the floor. Sorry if that's too TMI. So our first workout on day 1 is we split off into 2 pairs, male-female, male-female. Pair 1 does a Metcon, and then we meet with pair 2 in the middle of the floor, and we do 50 worm thrusters, and then pair 2 leaves and does the Metcon that pair 1 just did. The Metcon was 3 rounds of 30 synchro kipping handstand push-ups, 20 synchro chest-to-bars, and 10 clean and jerks. In training, Mike and I had the faster split on this, so we decide that we're going to go out first. 3, 2, 1, go. We kick up. My arms are doing this. I lower myself down. I have to pause on my head because I'm about to fall off of the wall. I can't kip too hard because that might be a big problem, if you know what I mean. And we do 5 reps. We kick off. My arms are already thumping, and we have 85 more reps to go of synchro kipping handstand push-ups. Keep in mind, because they are synchro, everything that I am doing wrong, Mike has to match. So when I get a no rep, he has to do another rep. When I'm paused at the bottom, he has to wait for me. When I'm holding the lock out for 5 seconds because I can't control my body, he has to wait for me. I'm imploding. I am not doing well. This is not a good performance. And this is for a shot at the games. Everything is going wrong. We eventually get through it, get to the worm. We're either in dead last or second to last. And we start chipping away at the worm thrusters. We had a good plan going into it. And somehow we finished this workout in 5th place. Now, I didn't realize it at the time, but during this, actually, before I move on, this picture, if you've purchased tickets for semifinals the past couple years, you might recognize it because it's the landing page to purchase tickets. Pretty cool picture, right? You look down, you see all these teams kicked up for their synchro kipping handstand push-ups. Well, those feet there, that girl walking through, that's me. That's us being one full round behind everybody else. So, sweet picture, right? Anyways, I didn't realize it at the time, but even though everything was going wrong and I was performing so poorly, I didn't for a second worry what Mike thought about me. And I always worry that people are mad at me, especially when I'm the limiter in a team workout. Mike's support is undoubtedly what allowed us to finish 5th in this workout. I was able to lean on that support instead of being stressed out because I knew my teammate was upset with me, or if he were yelling at me, or anything else that could have just added to that situation to make it worse. Instead, he just supported me. If you've competed before, you probably recognize this feeling. Standing on the start line, waiting for the buzzer to go off. It's about as high as nerves get. This was before the final workout of the weekend. We were in 5th place. 5th out of 5 qualifying spots. In CrossFit speak, this is about as much pressure as you can get. You do well, you make it. You don't do well, you go home. As Mike said, nothing to do but fuck it up. I was nervous about everything in this moment, except for what my teammates thought about me. I've never felt afraid or insecure about Mike being disappointed in me. And it took me until recently to realize that. It's easy to overlook because we, or at least I, tend to focus on the insecurities, the people who might look down on you. But it shouldn't be overlooked because it's so rare to have someone like that in your corner. I've been doing team competitions for 10 years now. And over the years, I've learned that in a team workout, there are 2 positions that you can be in. You're either the person who is holding the team back, and that sounds negative, but it's really not. There's always going to be one person who's the limiter in the workout. Everyone is waiting on them in order to go faster. Or you're not that person. Both of these positions will be filled in every workout. Mike taught me what kind of teammate I want to be when I'm the latter, when I'm the one who is not holding the team back. When I'm the one whose job it is to support my struggling teammate. Will I make the situation worse by making them feel bad about what's going on, or will I do what Mike did for me? I always knew that Mike believed that I was giving my best, and that was always enough for him. So my friendship with Mike taught me friendship over everything. I support you, and you know it. You support me, and I know it. The you know it and I know it is the most important part of this. So thank you, Mike, for the unconditional support. And sorry for making fun of your dad gloves. Number 4, patience, teammate, Brandy McGoldrick. So we're going to rewind to 2017 when I first moved to TTT. I saw Brandy right away. Immediately noticed her. She was the kind of athlete I wanted to be. I could relate to her from an athlete profile perspective. We were similar sizes, similar weights, similar heights. She was really good at the ergs. She was strong. She had been to regionals a ton of times. And although she did not have a gymnastics background, she had built her gymnastics capacity up enough in order to be able to hang, support the team, and be an incredible teammate. So that 2018 Open, remember the year that I melted down to Kyle? Before that Open, CTP walked around the gym, pointing a camera in everyone's faces and asked for one word of advice to give to people about the Open. I asked him for footage of this, but he had no idea what I was talking about. So So he goes around asking people, they're giving their advice, puts the camera in my face. I say good luck, which is wrong on two parts because number one, that's 2 words, and number 2, that's not advice. But I remember him putting the camera in Brandy's face, and she says, patience. The girl who I wanted to be like said patience. Interesting. Well, she's had to be really patient. In 2011, she competed on a games team, and then almost every year from then on, she competed at regionals. In 2017, which is the far picture, she was on the TTT team, and they finished in 6th place, 1 spot out of qualifying for the CrossFit Games. In 2018, this picture, she also competed on the TTT team, and they finished in 6th place, 1 spot out of qualifying for the CrossFit Games. In 2019, when CrossFit changed and it was sanctionals, she put together an extremely talented team, and they went to the Dubai CrossFit Championships to fight for a spot for the Games. They spent months and months preparing and were a really solid, put-together team. Well, they get there and they announce the workouts, and there's no team workouts. It's all individual. Not only that, a handful of the workouts, you select one teammate to go out there and do it, and everyone else sits in the bleachers and watches. Well, in a workout that she didn't even do, their team was unable to finish the minimum work requirements, so that removed them from even being able to fight for a game spot. In 2020, her and Mike decided to start a family, so it was going to be a while until she could try again. I am not a naturally patient person, especially with myself and especially as an athlete. During the time where Brandy was competing at multiple regionals, I was taking 5+ years to learn how to handstand walk 25 feet, Myra knows, and to string together more than 3 ring muscle-ups. My progress was slow. I was not patient, but I had no choice but to keep working and wait for that progress to come. Thankfully, Mike knocked up Brandy, and I had about a year to try to catch up to where she was. So my athletic development from 2018 to 2021 was led by Kyle, but it was modeled by trying to be like Brandy. I never forgot that she said patience, and throughout all the emotional ups and downs that come with striving and trying to become a better athlete, I had that foundation to return to. You didn't have a good training day? It's okay. Try again. Patience. You don't like your placement on the leaderboard? It's okay. Try again. Patience. You didn't qualify? It's okay. Try again. Patience. Well, that season, in 2021, when we were all on a team together for the first time, we qualified for the CrossFit Games. It was a long time coming for Brandy, and it was a dream come true for me. So to recap, number 4, my friendship with Brandy, I learned about patience. I am led by example. I was led by her example, and I lead others by example. It's now my time to pay it forward. Thank you, Brandy. It's now my turn to embody that patience and hopefully lead others through my example. We're going to fast forward to 2023 because Max said my talk is too long, but I want to give a shout out to the 2022 season. Chris K joined our team. He brought a lot of fitness and really weird deadlift proportions, but we made it back to the CrossFit Games. It was a dream come true again. Thank you, Chris. Lesson number 5. So this is going to serve as a conclusion as well. It's not all about what I want. Teammates, the 2023 replacements. So 2023, this past season, rolls around, and Mike and Brandy are pregnant again, and Chris K is going individual, and I want to go back to the games. I want to three-peat. That sounds awesome. 3 times in a row, CrossFit Games team athlete wearing that TTT shirt. Let's go. All about it, just as hungry as ever. So I start recruiting teammates. I need to put together a full new team. Now, if you have not done team competitions, it's important to gather teammates who have the same strengths, because you need to be able to execute on workouts and finish highly, so you have to be good at the same stuff. That's just how team has developed. There's no more you help me out, I help you out. Everyone has to be good at the same stuff. So I put together a team that's all power, has a lot of power on the ergs, strong on the barbell, good on the worm, which complements me as an athlete. And I was ready to charge into this season, and I really believed that we could do it. But things didn't go the way that I planned. Early in the season, we had to replace one of our male teammates. Luckily, Hannes, who is one of Mike's athletes, was visiting from Germany. He was going to be on site for a few months, but we convinced him to stay and join our team and be here for the season. Continue to train. I hurt my shoulder before the open. I'm kind of limited in what I can do. It's not too bad, but there's a few movements I have to avoid. After quarterfinals, we have to replace our second male teammate, and we pull up our alternate, Chris E., who had just completed the individual quarterfinals. And by just completed, I mean he touched his last rope climb, he put his feet on the ground, and I said, hey, you want to go team? He joins our team. We continue to train. I hurt my shoulder again. This time it's pretty bad, and there's a lot of stuff that I can't do. But we keep going. We keep moving forward. The replacements were new to the semifinal floor. They were rookies. They didn't have much worm experience, so there was a lot of growth that needed to happen, a lot of learning. Despite that, we had really good team training, really good chemistry, and we got pretty prepared as a unit with the time that we had. Now this year, the rules for team had changed. The affiliate cup wasn't really affiliate cup anymore. It was now basically super teams. You could recruit. All you had to do was complete the open together in order to compete on a semifinal floor. So it was already going to be a lot harder to qualify, and I knew that going into the year. And now with everything that had changed, the reality of the situation was we were likely not going to qualify. It just wasn't in the cards for us. We didn't have enough time. Our athletic strengths didn't match up in the way that we needed them to in order to qualify. It was no one's fault. It just was what it was. So I had to deal with not getting what I wanted this year. So we get to the North America East semifinal and we go to work. Day one goes pretty well. We execute well. It's not perfect. There's a few things, but a pretty good execution, especially with two rookies on the floor. Day two comes around and we crush it. Everything is perfect. The first workout, Chris goes out, does those pirouettes unbroken, which he did not do once in training. It was almost like miraculous. It was the best executed day I've ever experienced on at a competition in general. Literally perfect. But we were still nowhere near a qualifying spot. So I started to feel this gray area. Not making it still stinks. I was upset that I wasn't going to go back to the games, and there was another TTT team competing that was most likely going to make it. Now, of course, that's great, right? But if I'm being honest, that was really difficult for me to stomach because that was my team. You know, I had been representing that team on the floor for the past 2 years, and I was not going to be wearing that shirt this year at the CrossFit Games. But at the same time, I was so happy that we were at this competition. Despite everything, we made it there. It was Chris and Hannes' first time on the competition floor. They were crushing it, and I was so honored to experience that with them. I am grateful for the lessons from my teammates. Past Mia would have made that weekend miserable. I would have ruined that experience for Chris and Hannes. I would have made it all about the leaderboard. I would have been insecure. I would have not supported them properly. And I would have considered that full year and myself a failure. So, phew. Thank you to the teammates who led me here, because as we were not qualifying for the CrossFit Games, I knew from Danny, the teams in the top 10 don't define my experience. We were executing and succeeding. Just because they ranked higher than us on the leaderboard didn't mean that our successes weren't successes. From Kyle, our placement won't shake the confidence that I have in myself. I have proven to myself over and over again through a decade of hard work that I deserve to be on that floor and fight for that spot. Just because it didn't happen this year doesn't mean that that belief goes away. From Mike, being a good teammate is the most important thing. I was able to support my teammates and add to their experience instead of taking it away from them. They deserve my unconditional support just like what Mike gave me, and I truly, deeply hope that they felt that. From Brandy, just because it's not this year doesn't mean it's never. It's not now or never. Life does not happen the way you want it to. It takes the time it takes, and I can always try again next year. So to wrap it up, from Chris and Hannes, it is not all about what I want. Your experience is important to me. My experience is important to you. I hope that this talk pushes you guys to try to share your CrossFit experience with others. Whether that's a team or training partners, try not to miss out on the lessons, the support, and the priceless stories that come from caring for others and being cared for by others. Work hard, become a better athlete, take care of yourself personally, but don't forget about friendship.